This place is a crazy testing ground, and just it's full of aquascapes, saltwater, freshwater, paludariums, wabikuzas, you name it. And I'm here with Rachel, who is the caretaker, I suppose.
I take care of a lot of the aquariums in the Aqua Lounge. The Aqua Lounge we kind of use for social media, marketing, as well as product development. And we just kind of love it ourselves too, so we're all hobbyists.
Right on. So this is a lounge that's open to the public if you're in Chicago. So where are you guys in Chicago exactly?
Yeah, we're in Elgin, Illinois. We're kind of right off by the metro station, so pretty accessible.
Right on. So right in Elgin, and you know, it looks like an industrial area when you walk up, and I'll show you guys the front door too, but in here, it is an incredible wonderland of everything from your typical nature aquarium, you know, and different iwagumi, or looks like even like cichlid scapes and nanoscapes and wabikuzas and saltwater dinner table tanks. So I mean, you guys do everything, huh?
Yeah, we try to have a little bit for everybody. So I kind of want to make sure that, you know, everyone's got their own interests. So saltwater, coral tanks, as well as, you know, we have fountains.
Wow.
A little bit more for nano tanks, and we have nano fish.
Yeah.
Cichlid, there's something for the cichlid people too.
Right on.
I personally prefer more nature aquariums, so you'll see a little bit more of that.
Yeah, I love that too. And even your lights are full of life, you know?
Of course, yeah. And these are our luminariums. There's an aquarium version that's full of water.
Luminariums, I love it.
And this is just like flame moss in here.
Yeah.
These are the aluminum terrariums.
Tillandsia. Yeah.
We actually have one that has like some succulents in it as well.
Oh yeah, they're all over. So
yeah, they're all over.
So we will go check it out. But if you guys want to contact them, definitely come by and talk to Rachel. Thank you so much for letting us check it out. What's going on? It's Alexander Williamson here with The Secret History Living in Your Aquarium. And in this unassuming business park, about 40 minutes outside of downtown Chicago, we've got a little shop called SR Aquaristic, and or Aquaristic. Let's turn it around. Let's take a look and see what this Aquascaping Aqua Lounge is all about. Alright guys, so when you walk into this store, SR Aquaristic, and let me show you how that's spelled in their website just so you can check them out. This is a working gallery and lab. I mean, they've got everything from like hill stream tanks to these beautiful immersed, almost like paludariums, ripariums. And they've got, you know, they've got fish in these. There's some white cloud minnows in here. There's beautiful immersed moss that's sporulating, and you know, they've got tillandsia and other plants tucked in amongst it. But all over, they've got these beautiful, sleek installations with just about everything you could imagine. Even like this, like living moss and lichen and wood wall here. So we're gonna go through and look at some of my favorites because there's so much here. This is probably one of the biggest aquascaping stores, or lounges rather, in the country here in Chicago. So we're gonna just kind of do a speed run through, but I definitely encourage everybody to check this place out if you've got some time and you're in the Chicagoland area. I mean, this is beautiful. They have fish and shrimp and plants for sale, but they also have that really hard to find, unique, you know, special lighting that fits on just right, and CO2 gear. It's all very high tech, very European or Asian in its level of complication and you know, the sophistication of it. If you want to get into, you know, very colorful and incredible plants, this place is for you. And if you just want to be inspired, this is a place for you. I mean, they've got their plants reproducing in here. You can see the Alternantheria living there, and some Ludwigia. Over here we've got an Anubias and a Rotala tank with some nice boosts. Even though there's a little bit of algae growing, what's nice is this is open to the public, like I said, and so you are getting a realistic appraisal of what will happen when you take care of a tank. It's not always show quality perfect. You see the evolution of a well-manicured tank, every day here, and I just want to tell you guys like how rare that is, because we're given this image of your tank needs to look like this and be perfect, and that, you know, there's so many tricks to taking pictures and the lighting and the camera gear. I'm just showing you guys this on an inexpensive camera and you know, $1,000, and showing you guys how cool all this looks as is. I mean, you could come here and make art forms out of every single installation, but they said they use this space also just to try new things, see if a new lamp, you know, Do Aqua or Kessel or ADA, whatever it may be, how to work with them. And here we've got just something as simple as Danios, and if you look, the Danios, they're like, you know, your very common leopard Danio, the zebra Danio, and yet they're in this tank that's kind of an Iwagumi riverscape with this beautiful flowing, you know, flowing grass in there that just looks great. I don't know, it looks like a Val, probably a jungle or Italian Val, and it's just flowing, you know. And then you come over here and there's these, everything from just potted plants that are like their own little ecosystem and are just, they look so natural, like you could put them in your house, and it's just taking the potted plant concept to the next level. And here you can see they're just doing saran wrap with a few holes poked in it to keep a very humid paludarium or wabikusa in these, and it's just beautiful. I mean, very simple, something that almost everyone could learn to do. Some of them have creatures, some of them don't. They've even got like dry, more succulent and sedum based setups, and then they've got your kind of typical high humidity, it looks like maybe some sort of bacopa in there and some moss growing, and it just looks beautiful, especially when you get a touch of that color and texture switched up back there in the back with the AR pink, it looks like. And when you get immersed plants, they look so very different than the plants when they're underwater. So it's like you get two different plants for the price of one almost. But all around here, there's unusual, there's rare species and plants and fish, as well as common ones that they have elevated. And I just can't get across what a cool place this is. You guys want to have dinner with the Mad Hatter? I think this might be his table if he was having a small gathering. Even their bowls here are labeled SR Aquaristic with their stickers, but here they have a lovely inset aquascape with the sea anemones and the beautiful little clownfish, the Finding Nemos. The Nemos! No Dories, it's a small tank. But look at the intricacies of what's going on in here. You've got all sorts of different corals and anemones. Some of them are huge anemones with this beautiful iridescence and rainbow shine. And it kind of gives you this reddish hue. They've kind of picked this red theme with everything. The stone being live stone, and they're also being macroalgae and other things growing on it, and them having cleaning shrimp and things in here. And then above the table, there are these luminariums that they've coined, which basically just have little sprigs of a little something to tie in the beach feel, like you're at a tide pool or something, with your dinner. And I really like it. It really elevates the fact that you have a friggin' table that is an aquarium, and with it you tie in your house. You make a chandelier out of beautiful wood. You have another podium stand, and you could have a big, you know, a big show tank still, and yet it doesn't feel like you have taken over and it's just tacky or cheesy. I think it's just a really cool way to do it. It is over the top, but in all the right ways. Here we are at the kind of low tech, even though they're not low tech, but they are lower maintenance in that there's no CO2. I take it you're not doing EI or, you know, special dosing of FERTs that's crazy. So these tanks, like, what do you like about these? And really this is where people should jump in, and they might think that this is out of their range, but tell us a little bit about like what's going on here and in these tanks that's so easy. Like, What's the maintenance like here?
Yeah, these are actually kind of my favorite style of tank just because they're very low maintenance. You enjoy them so much more, kind of set them up and forget them. These tanks are, like I said, super low maintenance. I think we put fertilizer in maybe once a week.
Fertilizer once a week,
and then
wow.
we kind of do water changes, you know, whenever we get around to it.
Yeah, yeah.
The plants are taking up most of the nutrients, so they don't really need, you know, just have any algae problems or any phosphate nitrate issues.
Right, and then if you get a little bit of algae, you've got either an autosynclus or some guppies that'll eat it.
Yeah, so this is kind of more of an ecosystem style.
Yeah.
So like, there's kind of a little bit for everyone in here. So like that way, you know, you got your algae eaters, you got to clean things up. You got your pretty fish to keep things interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it's just about creating an ecosystem rather than a piece of art.
And then just adding some, you know, atmosphere element. You've just got like just different tillandsias and air plants and just a nice rock arrangement. And I mean, this stuff that you guys sell online as well, so people could recreate something like this?
Yeah, we sell these luminariums online. These are our river rock pebbles.
Very cool.
This is just red flint sand in here. I just use whatever we have laying around.
Sure, yeah, that's the great thing is if you need something specific, you can go seek it out from people like you guys or professionals.
Local fish stores, they usually have like twigs and stuff.
Yeah.
You can find. We just take them off of big pieces.
Right,
We
yeah.
find them on the floor all the time.
Yeah.
So.
It looks great, and I mean the fish just flowing together. I mean even just their colors when they're happy and in a tank that just works, like this little barb tank. I mean it looks so beautiful. Thank you for showing us this, and also, you know, letting us know that this is attainable for even if you don't know about CO2 or special dosing or any of that.
Yeah, none of that's on here. This is just pretty much filters, lights, and love.
Right, so this is just a step above like a kit tank, but doing it smart and the right way. And you know, the other thing is that I love is everything's not always perfect. You're gonna get a little bit of algae, you're gonna get a little bit of this and that, and that's part of learning the hobby. They're not hiding it, they're not like putting a towel over it like some galleries or adding club soda to make it look like everything's purling all the time. It's a realistic depiction of what you can be able to attain with a bit of research and a lot of love. And so thank you so much yet again for showing us the low-tech section. We're gonna kind of move on and I'm gonna explore, you know, they've got just a nice arrangement here. You can see the tension of the stone, very meeting in the center, draws your eye in. You guys can check out my Iwagumi videos if you want to see any of the stuff about the rule of thirds or the spirals or you know, the golden spiral and all the things that go into planning a scape and the hardscape. But this is just really cool because generally people don't try to make a tank that is you know, an aquascape per se when it's cichlids, because there's not enough plants and they think, well, you can't have a scape without plants. But it's so untrue. The hardscape is really the backbone of all of your plans. So here, let's look through these high-tech tanks, beautiful rasboras with more crypts, maybe some crypt lutea or something along those lines. Also, then we get into the higher end with more CO2 setup, where this is where you're getting into, you know, the George Farmer spectrum of things, or you know, famous aquascapers around the world. But again, using very accessible fish, the Aeneas corridora, just nice like Christmas moss or Java moss there, and then they've got some it looks like hygro sunset or rosevig, and then hygro pinnatafata, the red variety it looks like, and then just some nice sage, some crypts, some more crypt in the background, and you know, it looks so beautiful. These tanks are great. You know, here you've got a little dwarf lily, a dwarf tiger lily, and then you got some sort of like kabamba looking. It's a little leggy because it's probably a very low, there's probably very soft water in this one tank, I would guess, at least, because it's reaching for the light. And in here we've got some pretty strong pendant lights or spotlights, and you know, it totally changes the tank. They're using Owaze, I see a lot, and then like their lily pipes and things. You've got the autosynclus and the snails cleaning. They've got a nice diffuser there. And they also have, you know, a Siamese algae eater to help keep the algae down on the fine end of stuff. You could add shrimp to these tanks, but look at just the number of fish you can fit in these is so wonderful when you have a natural environment, when you have the plants, and they will reproduce oftentimes because of that. And so as we look around, you know, they've got saltwater here, which we don't even have time to cover all of, but I wanted to show you guys that they do have it. They are into the high end of that, the automated end of that, as well as the simple end of that. And that's what's cool about this shop, is it's as high tech as you want to take it. Things like this would be a beautiful centerpiece. You could throw a couple shrimp in, bada bing, bada boom. It's beautiful. I mean, it's very, very cool. And the accents, the wood pieces, you can sit and look at the gallery tanks. And as you come around the corner, you enter the magical land of being able to shop. So we've got, you know, all sorts of like bleeding heart tetras, skirt tetras, flagfish, very, very large glow light rasboras, platies, little, look at this ancestris with the speckles, very pretty. Just typical guppies, and yet all of these tanks have very low maintenance moss, anubias, and slow growing crypts. They have just a little strip of LED lighting on them, and then it looks like they are doing their own water changes on them manually, but they're growing out, you know, they're growing out their plecos in here, and the flagfish, which are great algae eaters. We caught some of those when we were in Florida. They've got some nice special lilies. They've got the green tiger barbs, or half green tiger barbs. And over here, they've got a whole wall of betta technology. They've got angel tanks, and everything is planted. They've got sand in here, so it's not truly growing. It's more just acclimating. And it looks like they have the corner filtration with the heater hidden behind it as kind of their standard layout for most of these tanks. And then some of them will have CO2 running into them, like this one in particular. It looks like maybe they're growing out some Ireo, calends of some sort, or some specialized plants. And down here you've got things like naja grass or guppy grass growing well. You've got Hygrophila sunset just growing really well. That one's not the pink or variegated version, but there's all sorts of things. And even in these little tiny like betta tanks, they've got plants and stones that are beautiful. So it's really a cool showcase spot, and you know, just Java fern on stone, and just, it's simple but elegant. They've got lots of different kinds of booths, beautiful red and purple varieties, green, dark green, light green. And then they've also got, you know, chain swords, lots of different anubias. These are really cute, and they have good prices. Their crypts are like $5-6 here. Really cool. You got your lighter grasses, your cypress hellfry, your mini hairgrass, your dwarf hairgrass, your micro sword. Then down here you got your flame swords, your Prince Kleiners, your melons, all that kind of stuff. And as you come around here, they've got their own brand of tanks, rimless tanks. Their luminarium, those light bulb things that I was showing you. And they've got all sorts of gear. They've got a dojo for if you find stone that you like, you can play with it and see how it fits, how your tank would be. You can plan out the size, the layout, you can build it up, and you can get experience from others here. They've got lots of spider wood, hornwood, Malaysian driftwood, and then they've got a whole refrigerated section, you know, AR Rosenberg, Bucephalandra, Lamandau purple, cryptocorn. These are some species I really haven't seen much of, and the brand looks like it's called Anubias. I don't know, that looks like the brand, and it looks like it's got an Italian flag or a Mexican flag on it, so I'm assuming it's Italian or Mexican. Let's see if it says. But again, they've got drawers full of it for your high-end aquascapers, and also all sorts of filters and pumps, salt and fresh water, all sorts of fertilizers, filtration media, and again, more wood up top, merchandise. They've got the kits that you can buy, which is really cool, the mats that you would need, and then big pieces How big of a tank would you need for this? I mean, holy smokes, it's insane. So very cool. They've got gravel and sand by the bagful, really intricate wood. I mean, wild. And then there looks like they're doing their own tissue cultures, or at least their own cultivation of several things. Very cool. I need to come back here. We got to get back to hear some talks. But again, if you are in the Chicagoland area and you have a chance to come in here, look at this RO unit. It's a big RO unit and prep area. If you are in the Chicagoland area, definitely come by and check this awesome place out. I feel like a kid at a candy store. I want to have a dinner party at this saltwater tank and learn all about saltwater, which I know nothing about. They've even got books that you can read while you're sitting here getting inspiration. I'm sure they do like workshops and different projects as they're filming it on their social media. So come check out everything from the low tech all the way to the high tech, freshwater to saltwater. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, helps it go farther. And also subscribe if you want to see more of this content. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Bye. About the perfect conditions for rice fish to live. You set them up, shrimp and rice fish in here. Here they've got little white cloud minnows, probably the Hong Kong longfin yellow morph, it looks like. But then they've got all these terrestrial plants in here that need some humidity, but they're by the door, which gets cold in Chicago. And yet all these air plants and these, they've also got, you know, all sorts of plants that are known for holding water, and they do have water. The bromeliads with the tillandsia that have recently bloomed, and they're using just that wood to elevate it and actually be kind of a planter with the other moss and lichen in here. And they're using things from our native area of the northern US and then tying it in with plants from the tropics or subtropics. And again, you get this like 1,000-layer stone or elephant stone or whatever it is that they used here. It's hard to tell with all the moss growing on it. But as it grows in, it just looks so aged and natural. And then they've hidden the pump through a stone with a hole in it, and they even put a little stone over that other stone so that you wouldn't see it, yet it keeps the surfaces moist and it trickles down. It probably was designed to trickle down onto this wood, but your tanks evolve, and that's part of the beauty of it. It's part of the fun, is watching how they decide to take over, how nature will find a way, and how it sculpts and crafts and creates no matter what you do. You can have, you know, you can set the stage, but the actors and the script will be written by nature. And it's so cool to see. I just love shops like this that are open to the public and not just in, you know, some very wealthy person's basement or something, and, you know, they enjoy it, and that's wonderful, but the public doesn't get that inspiration. Now these have some CO2, but arguably these don't need CO2. You could probably get away without it, and yet you've got baby platies being born in here, and you got little snails and some shrimps hiding out in there. And so really you could elevate this, you know, to this level without CO2. You would just need to care for it carefully. I'm sure they're running very low amounts of CO2 on that. But it looks like our friends, our ride, have purchased their goodies, and we're gonna roll out. So thank you very much to SR Aquaristic. I'm inspired. We're not even talking about the back room. And thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe if you want. You guys know the drill. And check out this place online if you want to know more, or if you're in the Chicagoland area. Thank you so much.